In the Namib Desert in southern Africa, there grows a plant named the Welwitschia. It's not much to look at. It's composed of two long leaves that twist around and have become shredded and curled over time. And the ends of those leaves look quite dry and brittle. What's amazing about this plant, however, is not its looks, it's its age. Some of these plants are thought to have started growing at the beginning of the Iron Age, when the Phoenician alphabet was invented and when David was crowned king over Israel. These plants, according to scientists, are 3,000 years old. There's something else that's incredible about the Welwitschia plant. It doesn't just grow into an adult plant and stay that way forever. It actually grows constantly. In fact, when these plants don't grow, they die. Even after 3,000 years, this seemingly immortal plant is never finished growing, never finished changing. I love that image of the plant that has been changing for 3,000 years. It's a reminder that we humans, too, are never finished. One of the things about the High Holy Days that I sometimes find challenging is no matter how hard we work on self-reflection, repairing relationships, changing habits, we know that this time of year is always going to come around again, and there will always be something for us to work on, often the same thing that we worked on last year. Despite our best intentions, we never get to be a clean slate, and at the very least, we never stay that way for long. It can be quite frustrating, even depressing to think about. But there's a flip side to this. The flip side is there's always room to grow, always room to learn, always room to expand our horizons. Tshuva, repentance, doesn't just have to be about things we dislike about ourselves. It can also be about finding ways to develop and be even more of who we want to be. There's a prayer that appears in the morning service every day, Hameir La'aretz, which gives thanks for a new day. The opening words of the prayer are Hameir La'aretz v'ladarim aleha berachamim uvtuvo mechadesh b'chol yom tamid ma'aseh v'reshit. God illuminates the earth and all those who dwell on it in mercy. And in God's goodness, God renews the works of creation each day. Now, by the way, Rabbi Josh Warshawski, my colleague, wrote a melody for this prayer. When he reads the prayer, he imagines God giving birth to the world each morning, a female metaphor. And so in his song, he changes the words of the prayer to describe God in the feminine as Hameira La'aretz, as she who illuminates the world and in her goodness gives birth to the world every day. And incidentally, if you ever join us on Fridays at 1 p.m. at Nigun Saloon, we often sing that song. One way of reading this prayer is that it calls on us to see the wonders of the world around us every day as if they are new. I'm reminded of the 2 summers that I spent in the Rocky Mountains working for Camp Ramah. When I first arrived, as I walked from one place to another, I gaped in awe at the incredible views around me of the red mountain face towering over the valley. I couldn't believe how lucky I was to be in such a stunning location. Sometimes, though, after I had been there for a while, I had to remind myself to be amazed. After all, I saw it every day. I would imagine that even the most stunning place on earth could be taken for granted by someone who sees it all the time. Hama'ir La'aretz is a reminder to tap into our sense of wonder and to recognize that so many parts of our world that we don't specifically think about all the time are quite miraculous and special. Another aspect of this prayer, however, is that God, even God, is never done with the work of creation. Even when the world around us may feel the same from one day to the next, in some way, it's always changing, and it has the potential, we hope, to change for the better. So let's take this holiday to think about how we, like the world and like the Velvichia plant, want to change this year. As we enter Rosh Hashanah, this is the time to ask ourselves, what does it look like to renew myself this year? What are my goals for myself? Who do I want to be? What do I want to learn? How do I want to spend my time? What would make me feel fulfilled? As we begin that process of reflection, I wish us all a sweet and healthy new year. Shana Tova. We'll turn to page 23 in our books, and I'll lead us in the recitation, thank you, on the top of page 23. Feel free to join in with me. May it be your will, Adonai, our God and God of our ancestors, that the year 5782 be one of balanced and mindful growth for us as individuals, for our families, and our communities. May we return next year in good health and in appreciation of a year of greater peace, a year in which we deepened our lives through learning and the performance of mitzvot, a year in which we were conscious of the divine presence, a year in which we strengthened our shared commitment to tikkun olam, the betterment of the world. Please rise if you are able on page 24 for Kiddush, and we'll